So welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough and this is episode 520. And today I love to talk to you about being the person that you needed way back. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, before we get into today's content, actually, I want you to know that the Android app is coming out very soon, the updated version. I actually had to buy an Android phone. There's I've got it right here. Here's the packaging if you can see it. It's a Galaxy, I think it was an A10 or something, A10s. I'm more of an iPhone person with all my products. Like there's an Apple, iMac and so on, but I'm testing the app next week, early next week. So that means if you are on Android, you're going to get hopefully a new version next week. And that's going to be really, really awesome. And then there'll be, having completed the Android update, the final, or not final, but the initial thing I want to do is get all the day and night versions of every single track onto the app. So if you go into the general section, and by the way, if you haven't got the app, all you got to do is go to freehypnosis.app online. Just go type in your little search bar, freehypnosis.app, and that means you'll be able to find the relevant link to the Android or to the iPhone. But the next phase will ultimately be having day and night versions in every title. And it's been immensely hard. We've had to, like, I say it's been me having to do lots of new recordings, updated recordings, edited versions, because the nighttime ones are longer in their nature. It's not like I just kind of fade it out. I really wanted to go deep into it. So you will be getting the nighttime version. Now, to honor that, if you purchased within the app a day version, which is say the generic hypnosis section, like the main hypnosis section, or you did it on the custom one, I'm going to give you for free the night version. So you're going to get both day and night version for no extra cost. Now, the app is changing due to the server costs. We haven't actually increased prices for, I don't know, forever. I don't think we actually have changed the prices in 7 years or so. So the prices are going to change. And the unlock all, I want to be very blatantly open to you about this because I do care for you. We are going to be moving into a yearly subscription. What does that mean? It means if you unlock the app right now, you get it for a lifetime. As long as the app's in existence, you get it for a one-time fee. When we do introduce this, like I said, like the server fees are like really, really big to make sure it's available for everybody. And now we're going to add the day and night version. We are going to have to move to a subscription level. Now, if you've purchased the unlock all before for that one-time fee, you will continue to get it for free. Like, it doesn't change. We honor that experience for you. We honor that purchase, so you will get it for free. Even the new titles. The new titles that you'll be getting are going to be epic. So you get those for free if you've unlocked the whole app, ultimately. But on the same notion, if you haven't done so and you're thinking about it, I want to be open and honest with you that if you're going to do it, I would do it soon because it is going into a yearly amount. Okay. So that's just what I've got to do as a business to be able to these app updates are crazy. In investment and obviously time, which I don't mind. I mean, like, look, I still get paid from it, of course. But yeah, it takes a lot of effort to do. And all these videos are for free and audios if you listen to this on the podcast or the app. But we are transitioning. So if you have the unlock all now, you get it for free. And in other words, you don't have to pay a recurring fee. You've got it. So you're done. You're great and good. But more than that, you get the day and night version and Every new title, which we've got over 60 or so going into the app, you're going to get that for free. That's all included. So you're going to get a ton of information or a ton of new tracks, and also any other future tracks that I create, you'll get that for free if you've unlocked the app. Of course, when it changes over into a subscription style of app, so you can unlock it at a yearly level for roughly the same amount of the unlock all now. If you get it now, you don't have to pay for any recurring fees. So I really want to be transparent with you and honor that, because I'd prefer you to get the good deal, despite, yeah, it kicks my servers, and ideally I could be like all business and go, look, I'm not going to tell anyone, just one day switch it over. And it's not going to be the first time I'm going to speak about it. This is going to be in about maybe from 2 weeks to maybe 6 or 8 weeks time, because I've got to invest into the whole adding everything into it. There's lots of upgrades to be had, but I do want to give you a heads up about that, because I feel that's only right. So it would be in your best interest to unlock it all now, but you don't have to, of course. That's if you're happy with just the free stuff, enjoy the free stuff. So that's just something to consider. So that's what I wanted to talk about initially. But it's really exciting as well, because I'm really reinvesting into the app, and I have done for the last 3 months. And there is obviously significant amounts of money. I mean, it's not hundreds, it's thousands and thousands and thousands. And I don't even want to say how many thousands I've had to do it. But of course, on top of that, though, look, I haven't actually really had to update the app for a long time. So it has been fruitful. So I'm not going, look, I've invested all this stuff into it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm going all in on the app. I'm going all in on it. And the same thing with these videos, these live videos and the podcast. I've been very, very inspired to get back to the old me, which is, yes, it takes time, but I do want to continue doing more free audios, more free videos for you, because that feels purposeful to me. That feels very, very passionate, and that makes me kind of sing. It makes me kind of feel alive. So I'm definitely keen on doing that, and I've seen the impact that makes. Once you're so consistent, you'll be impossible to be ignored. That's been my quote for the last week in my mind, or last 7-8 days anyway. When you're so consistent, you're impossible to be ignored. So I've been very consistent with this, and we've seen double the amount of downloads. Like the month before last month, we had like 65,000 downloads. So because I wasn't really doing anything anymore. Last month, I kind of went at it. We went to 115,000 downloads, so almost double. And by the end of this month, although being a shorter month, we're going to way surpass 115,000 downloads. So I kind of feel like that is something that means you're listening more, in other words. So I'm happy to be a part of that. And of course, if you ever feel like reviewing the app or the podcast, I'm always greatly appreciated about that. But let's go ahead into today's subject. I don't know how long this will go for, but it's about being the person that you needed. Now, I don't know how long ago you had your issue. I don't know when it came into existence. I don't know if it was 5 years old. I don't know if it was 10 years old. I don't know if it was even last week. However, if we take the first aspect, which was ultimately when we're young. So when we're young, we may have created certain thoughts or beliefs about ourselves. Maybe that we weren't enough. Maybe we didn't feel capable. Maybe we didn't even articulate it, but we had a feeling that our value in some way wasn't as good or as great as we'd like it to be. Now, if that's the case, then obviously, being so young, we made certain decisions based on the insight that we had at that time. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was 5 years old or 10 years old, I didn't know too much about the world, and I definitely didn't have the ability to make a decision that would be fruitful or helpful or healthy to me when it came to my esteem. I was literally like a sponge and absorbing everything and going, this must mean I am fill in the blank. This must mean I might fail. This might mean I am not worthy. This might mean, and so on. So I didn't have the knowledge and information back then. And if we go into the latter aspects of this, when I said, right, it could have happened last week. If it did happen last week, for example, we were probably under an immense amount of stress, just like the same example of being when we're young, we're in a stress state. We didn't have the knowledge and information, but let's just say we did have the knowledge and information because it was last week. But because we're in that stress state, we didn't have the ability to choose anything different. We were so stressed out that we were like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I don't know about you, but when I've been in these situations and the people I've worked with for the past 19 years, they felt lost or they felt like they could do nothing. Like it was like there's just no way out. When we're in that mindset, we're not able to make good, articulate, logical decisions. We're in this response mode, this like, oh, I just got to respond to something. I've just got to do something. And usually those decisions that we have aren't that good. They're not that helpful to us. Or they may have been initially because there's a protective mechanism. But in the long term, remaining that way, we don't really do a great job at things. It might have been a short-term protection, but a long-term set of pain. So where we've had our issue for the last week, where we've had it for 10, 20 years, maybe you've had it for 60 years, I don't know. But if you had it for that long, we've got to teach our unconscious mind. We've got to teach it. We've got to educate it. We've got to get it to evolve and be safer. Now, of course, one of the ways of doing so is using things like hypnosis, right? So that's what I do. And I did it because, to me, hypnosis transformed my life. It gave me back the power, the freedom, and it caused me to go and learn hypnosis. And I like to think helped quite a few people. Even if there's one person, I'm happy with just one person because one life change is better than no life changed, right? Now, I know the immense value of hypnosis and working with the unconscious mind. And ultimately, we've got to educate the unconscious mind that way. We've got to get it to know there is another way of being. We've got to get it to know and understand you can be different. So going back to the subject of this, which is being the person you needed. Now, of course, you can't go back in time and be that person. But I do want you to consider what kind of person you needed in your life. Think about that for a few minutes. What kind of person did you need in your life that would have changed the course of your history? Go ahead and let me know. You can let me know on the comments if you wish, or at the very least, if you're listening to this, consider what did you need, and if you were to have a person in your life who could have provided that, what would it have been? What would it have been? Now, the reason why I say that, the more you understand what you needed. So there's a really great one. So thank you, Connie, for this. A supported mother. Now, interestingly enough, my coaching call, one of the people did say that, and they said that it's been epically amazing by actually being and becoming the mother they needed to be. To themselves, of course. And that goes into the solution. Because when you start to act and react, if you start to give your unconscious mind all that it needed back then, you will transform your life. It can take time, but the more you start to be and become the person you needed to have in your life back then, you will transform your life. Unconsciously, you will transform. And there's a few reasons for this. What the first reason is, yes, this issue started long ago. So it was way, way back. Now, if it was way, way back, or even last week, it doesn't matter. But the fact that we still have an issue means, to a degree, our unconscious mind is still acting out that mindset. So if it was formulated as an 8-year-old when it first happened, or a 1-year-old, or a 15-year-old, it's acting out the exact same way. So therefore, it's living in that mindset. So if you start to act and become the person you needed back then, your unconscious mind will feel that it's been felt. It'll feel like it's been heard. It'll feel like it's been seen and acknowledged, and it didn't have that before. So when you start to become that person, you're not only healing the past self, but you're healing the part of you which is still present that needs to be upgraded. You need to be the example of what can be done to your unconscious mind, not just to your family, not just as a society, just to your unconscious mind. The second reason why that's important, so the first one was it hasn't grown up fully in that context of the issue. The second part of it is that by doing so, we're becoming in rapport with our unconscious mind. We're being connected. Your unconscious mind may be hypnotized through all the past experiences in the world, all the times where we've been hurt, all the times where things went wrong, and it's been hypnotized by the external experiences, but it doesn't know any different. It feels disconnected. So when we start to connect with ourselves and be that person that we really needed back then, unconsciously, it will feel like it wants to do better because it's got what it needed. And that's why it's important to be able to not fight yourself unconsciously, like beating yourself up, because it divides you even further. It creates a bigger gap between you and your unconscious mind. And you've been hypnotized by society, by the events, by the people for so long that you've become out of control or out of rapport with your unconscious mind. And if we're out of rapport with our unconscious mind, there's a lot of things going on there. There's a lot of issues because we're going one way, the unconscious mind's going the other way. Two different directions, and that never works out. But once you start to praise your unconscious mind and be the person that it needed back then, it listens, it responds, and when you praise it, it will get better. And here's my analogy for that. And I said this to them the call that I was running. Let's just say we had a child. And this child maybe have been okay some of the day, a little bit naughty on the other part of the day. But one point within that day, that child does something remarkable. Maybe he helps another child or helps another person, like very selflessly and so much full of empathy and love. They do something for someone. Now, I could easily try to criticize all that they did wrong. And what's that going to do? It's going to make them feel bad. It's going to make them focus on, oh, that's why I'm not good enough. That's why I'm a failure. That's why, what if I fail? What if, all these like what ifs and all these reasons as to why it validates their belief about themselves. But what if instead of pointing to the things they did wrong, I just ignored it? Now, of course, there's always an opportunity to learn, because learnings are kind of important for children. So it's not to say we're not correcting them. But what if we did ignore it temporarily, just for this moment? And this, by the way, I said at the beginning of this live broadcast, I have no children. So take this advice with a pinch of salt, because all I have is a dog and a cat. They're right next to me. So I don't know everything fully about this, but I can imagine in my mind they've actually done studies with this and also with animals as well in this nature, which will be another subject for another time. But let's just say I praise the child for what it did right. And I said, wow, that was so awesome of you. You helped that person, and you didn't have to. That shows a good heart. That shows you're a good person on the inside. And I thank you for that. That inspired me. Now, what do you think would happen to that child if we didn't point out all the faults, but we pointed out all the good things, that one good experience? If we just point out that one thing and praise that child, what's going to happen? Well, ultimately, the child will actually, because of the unconscious mind as well, will look to do more of that. It got validation. So it's going to look for more of that, to do more of it. But even more than that, the unconscious mind will start to bring up the game in the other areas and all the things that child did so-called wrong. The unconscious mind will automatically and unconsciously try to resolve those by being better. Absolutely. Connie said, positive reinforcement. And it is true, right? It is a reinforcement. It's a validation that the child will actually get better. Now, it's not to say we've got to be, like I said, I'm not talking about parenthood. To take this as an analogy, as a metaphor, because I'm not saying you got to rah-rah, just be awesome butterflies and unicorns and things like that. I'm not saying that. There is a reality of life that children should know to a degree, and what's right and what's wrong, and not just be full of praise. But in that situation, by focusing on what they did well, not only does it get that affirmation and self-validation, but it will actually look to do more of the same, but also look for all the other things it could do something similar to that in the other areas that it wasn't doing very well. That's where the self-belief comes in. Now, the reason I went into that analogy, now your unconscious mind is that child. So if you start to praise your unconscious mind for what it does well, what's it going to do? It's going to feel validated. It's going to feel heard, listened, and felt. And it's going to try to do more of the same, which is always good, but also it will bring up all the other stuff. It will have to bring up all the other stuff. It will do more. It will become more, and it'll look out for you more. That is getting in rapport. And by being the person that your unconscious mind needed back then, it will inspire your unconscious mind. It won't be listening or repeating the same old stories, doing the exact same thing it's always done, having been hypnotized in the past and all those things by society, culture, events, people. It'll actually move on or evolve and learn and grow to something better. And that's what it's all about, growth. The only way that I work with people, so when it comes to my program and all those things, yes, we find the root cause, because you got to find the root cause. Otherwise, we're just working on symptoms. So, but if we move that to one side, the solution aspect is evolution. It's learning. It's updating the system. Our unconscious mind thinks it's doing something good with the positive intentions, but the behavior does not match the intention. A phobia, for example, an irrational response to something, is trying to protect you, but it's in an overwhelming way, hence why it's irrational. So the intention is protection, the behavior, not so good. And in fact, it can be very dangerous. So the way that I work my clients and the people who we enroll into my program is by education unconsciously, getting it to learn what it needs to learn, evolving it. So, and the good news about that is that it never goes back because we've upgraded the system. It's always like upgrading a software of a computer. The whole intention is to be able to make it better, to make it safer to other threats, other viruses and things like that. So we're upgrading the system or the software of the unconscious mind, which means that we have an opportunity to grow. And also it means it's not going to come back. I mean, there's literally, why would it go back if it's now safer? It wouldn't make sense to the unconscious mind because the prime directives of the unconscious mind, and there's a ton of them, like the healing of the body, maintaining habits, understanding about your memories or the logical location of those memories or like understanding them. There's so many things, but the real main reason is self-protection. It's there to try to keep you safe. So if we can upgrade your system, then of course, it's going to jump at the chance of doing so. So bringing it a full circle here, I'm trying to say that we've got to be the person that we needed back then, because that's going to be what your unconscious mind also needs now. It hasn't changed. It may have got better, but it hasn't fully changed. Otherwise, we'd be free of the issue. So we need to become the person that the unconscious mind needs right now, or back then, which it still needs right now. And every moment of every part of the day that we can, we look to do more of the same. And when we do that, life will be different. You're going to get more in connection with your unconscious mind. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Now, of course, if you want to be able to figure out if I can support you and get you to your outcome through my program, like it takes time, it takes investment, but you can go to josephclough.info/power, josephclough.info/power. You watch a little masterclass there. If it feels good, then you can potentially apply. You don't have to. We're not after everyone, just the right kind of person we know that we can serve. Because that just means we can really help people. Now, of course, once again, if you want to be able to get access to the hypnosis sessions within an app, it's free to download. Go to freehypnosis.app, and that will take you to either the Android link, which is being hopefully the newer version released up, as in a whole brand new version, will be released in the next week or so, hopefully, or the iPhone one, which has been recently released. For a couple of months now, we've made some more upgrades with the favoriting and all those kind of things. And also, if you can rate and review it, it just means that other people will feel like, yeah, there's a lot of people saying that it's a good thing. At the moment, it's got 4.5 star rating out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5. But look, I want to get to a 5. I want it to be unstoppable. And a lot of the ones which were kind of low ones is when the app went, like it mismatched the software, hence why we had to rebuild the whole thing. But if we get back to a 5, people are going to look at that and go, wow, I'm going to download it. And that means they can listen to all the free 500, I think I said there's 518. So they have well over 500 free episodes, over 100 hypnosis sessions on there, all for free. Every review, every rating can change your life. I really know that to be true. I really believe it anyway. So if you can do that, I would be so appreciative. And of course, once again, if you do want to unlock the whole app, which means unlimited custom creations, all the hypnosis tracks, plus all the new hypnosis tracks coming out, plus on top of that, getting every day and night version when that gets released, you're going to get that all for free, and it'll be a one-time fee at the moment. If you've got it already, you're going to get it for free anyway, because you purchased it. I'm going to honor that. In the future, as I said, we are going to be implementing a pay yearly or pay monthly, just because I want to make sure the app survives and thrives. And doing it the way that we're doing all these new things we're doing it, we're going to modify it that way. But I want to give you a crazy cool heads up. It's going to be in 2 weeks to 6 weeks or something like that. And I want you to be able to get access to it all without having to pay more. It's kind of madness in a way. I should give like people 24 hours notice and then suddenly pull the wool over their eyes or whatever it's called and make more money. But look, I want to be really upfront and honest. If you do want to get access to the whole app for that one-time fee, and depending where you are, but in US dollars, it's like $27 for all those tracks, unlimited lifetime of the app. It's going to be pretty awesome. But you don't have to as well. You can just pay for the individual one or just listen to the free ones. I don't mind. Whatever suits you, whatever makes you feel good, whatever transforms your life, that's what I love. With or without me. It could be another podcast, it could be another app, it could be another book, it could be another training. I don't mind, as long as your interests are being met, that your successes are coming your way. That's all I care and love for you. So do whatever feels good and great. But with that, we are going to be ending this stream. So I hope you found it of value. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future video, because there's lots of things to be discussed. I'm really excited about doing more of these, because I like that more interaction. I like being live. Like, there's no editing. There's just, it is what it is. So have a most wonderful evening. It is for me here in the West Coast. Or if you have a wonderful morning, or if you have a wonderful afternoon, wherever you are in the world, I hope you are wonderful and great. Thank you for the kind comments. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future live video, or if you're getting this on a replay, on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.